Hey everyone, Chomsky here. Happy Thursday, happy day before Halloween. Um, this is gonna be really just a gear one. We're just gonna be talking about gear and ideally what to look for and what we want. Um, what makes sense, what doesn't. So yeah, if you have questions about gear, lay them on me. Tell me where I'm wrong. Toss something in the comments, and I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, just wanted to go through it. Gonna try to be succinct as I can, and starting from the top with what I have. Um, you know, spoiler alert. Too long, didn't watch. Really, you just want to maximize the set, and that's basically the main topic. But there's a lot of subtopics related to that root cause. So here we have speed, right? I'm ideally looking for any speed whatsoever, but I'm also like for this piece, I'm looking at crit damage. I tripled in crit damage and I have defense, so I'm looking at a def, a defense based champ that I want nuking. So that's why I kept this. It has speed, it has accuracy. Triple crit damage is awesome. I don't want to use a stone on this and shift away from it just because I want crit damage. Crit damage is great. And it does have speed, but chances are it's not going to trip in speed. So, all right, I have stones to mess around with, but I don't like this is a nice backup piece. I'm not going to be going ham for it. Like triple resistance. I think I didn't rework this, but why not? Let's do it for the stream, right? See what I get. HP percentage with attack. Yeah, I definitely went down. Um, I don't build my champs with a lot of resistance anyway, so that's fine. But ideally, this is what happens. I get raid ADHD and I deviate quite often. But anyways, for speed sets, I want to get speed, and then it has to make sense for that champ. So attack based, I want attack and crit damage, crit rate, accuracy, you know, that type of stuff. With crit damage, with this set, again, if you're going to be using it and ideally maximizing it, you want crit damage or crit rate out of them. Here I got 1 and 1, and that was just kind of a stretch to hang on to, but it's fine. I don't use crit damage stuff that much, but when I do, I want to have crit rate and crit damage. Speed is also a good one. Here's a double crit rate, double crit rate, double attack. This is borderline sellable. This is reworkable. Um, and ideally, I only want to rework top shelf stuff here. So here I definitely improved. I got double in speed and crit damage. Uh, what's pretty basic about crit damage stuff, you need to attack, right? So that's why I'm looking for speed. I want to be able to attack to get crit rate going to do crit damage. So I'm always going to be looking for speed. So that's pretty neat. And I am going to send this really quick so this way I can maybe mess around with it eventually. Uh, Accuracy is kind of an old hat. Speed, accuracy. This has got attack, so it's like okay. Borderline sellable. Like this has got speed and triple attack. It's a triple. I'm gonna hang on to it, but I if I need space, I'm almost at capacity. I may sell it in the future. Um, so speed and accuracy. Again, speed's gonna be huge, 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 because you want to get yourself in a position where you could actually use that set. So lifesteal, I'm looking for damage and I'm looking for speed. Lifesteal doesn't do me any good if I'm not being able to hit you. So that means I need to go. So anything with speed and some type of potential damage. So attack for those attack based champs. It has accuracy, so it's like a land debuffs, and it has speed. I love it. I don't use this set too often. This is really like maybe a faction war piece, but it's there. I again speed and then damage. So cursed, I want speed and I that and accuracy, for my other stuff. But what's nice about this cursed stuff and toxic when we get to it is that when it says it's a 50% chance to place hex out there, that's it, man. It's 50%. Like, you could get your masteries to potentially land other stuff, like another 5% with that accuracy tree. But the amount of accuracy that you have on here does not do anything to increase the chances of placing hex as far as I'm aware. I may be wrong, but from everything I've done and experienced, like this is a straight up coin flip to place that debuff. So ideally, you're putting this on an AOE champ, like let's say Neck Mothar, um, anybody that does a lot of A1 AOEs or any AOEs. Um, this really pans out to be really good in Hydra especially. So yeah, get speed out there. You want to be able to attack and potentially land that hex. So yeah, speed and then attack. We got Frost. This is really a 1 in 5 chance to place a freeze on an attacker. So basically, you want to get hit. Like speed may not be your friend on this one because it doesn't matter. The whole point of Frost is that you get hit, and then there's a 1 in 5 chance to have that attacker be frozen. So you want damage mitigation, you want HP percentage, you want defense percentage. You may want resistance as well to resist potential debuffs or anything like that. But you're definitely wanting to get hit. So this is good for a go second team. Um, it's 4 pieces for a 1 in 5 chance. That's a lot. And as we get further in, there's just so many other sets that could be more beneficial for you than Frost. Frenzy, this is a weird one. There's a few champs out there that kind of thrive on having debuffs on ya. There is a mastery out there that you could do more damage if you have debuffs. So having Frenzy could be kind of advantageous to you. Um, but yeah, I don't really see it. I don't really use it too often. In case if they ever do buff it, at least I have a few pieces here that I feel comfortable with. Like this one's got double crit rate, crit damage, and HP percentage. All right, I that's fine. I'll run with it. Like, but yeah, I don't necessarily see this being used that often. So it's fine if you don't have a lot of it, but I would save at least a decent, some decent pieces out of any set just in case if they do update it, nerf anything, at least you could potentially take advantage of it. Here in regeneration, it only works when you take a turn. So I'm definitely looking for speed, looking for HP percentage. I definitely want to get more bang for my buck. So healing by 15%, I want as much HP as I can get. With that said, HP, defense percentage, speed, resistance, kind of like the basics. But it's nice to hear that. Uh, next up is Relentless. I want to go as fast as I can. So here I've kept HP flat HP with crit damage and crit rate. Like I'm waiting for CVC to bump some of these up to 16. So this way I get those points. Or artifact enhancement tournaments. Just waiting for that. And traditionally, what I like to do is bust out an ascension on a piece that I kind of want to work on. So, like right now, I got 108,000 of these small boys. I'm not going to be crying about losing one or two in there if I have to sell it, but that's fine. But yeah, essentially, I want speed because I want to increase those chances of me getting that extra turn. So speed is essential. If I don't have speed, what am I trying to do? Ash has talked about in his videos that he likes to have his champs in relentless if they're attack based because he wants them to attack again and try to pummel as much as he could. And it makes sense. So getting a crit rate and crit damage out of here, getting those extra turns is pretty neat. And especially with Maria kicking in, on that A1, like to get extra turns, it's pretty nice. So I'm not opposed to having a nice amount of relentless still saved. And yeah, I still kind of like want as much as I can. There's a few pieces that just are dumb, like this 8 flat HP, but it's got double speed and it's basically got a triple roll and crit damage. So I'm hanging on to it. And really, just for an HP champ, there we go. Um, Next up is we have Savage. I'm not really hanging on to a lot here, but there's some dumb pieces like this one. It's flat attack, but it has speed, crit damage, and crit rate. Um, okay, I'm coming at a deficiency here, but it's fine. Like the next up is this attack percentage with crit rate. Okay, but I digress. What I'm looking for here is the absolute bonkers of crit damage, crit rate, speed. Again, like ignoring 25% of enemy defense is huge. Only happens when you attack. And unless you have Shuzen um, to make you go instant turn, like you're gonna need speed. So get those substats of speed going. But you also want, you know, crit damage and crit rate and all that because you want to make it count. Here with stun, you have an 18% chance to place stun. That's it, straight up. Uh, Huge for faction wars, but really speed because I want to get going on the ability to stun. You could also have attack because you know that you're going to be hitting them, um, but really just speed. Speed is the name of the game. Toxic. This was really good when you have, oh, what's that lizardman? It's not Ramantu. It is the other one. Um, Drawing a blank here. It is Chigar. That he places whenever a poison from him basically goes on any champ, then he gets an instant attack when they go, and it also works um, with that toxic set. So this is really good. But yeah, speed, crit rate, crit damage, all the basic attacks. Like this is it's such a small poison debuff, but it's got a high likelihood, which is great for champs like Jagar, just because he has an AOE and then he also has that passive. But if you're really hurting for poison damage, like in Chimera or in Clan Boss, like Toxic's a great set. So speed, accuracy, attack, because you're going to be hitting, and ideally they don't have stone skin, so you got to make it count. So that's a big one. I have provoke here. 30% chance to place provoke isn't the greatest, but if you're hurting in Hydra, like this is an okay piece. Just speed because you want to be able to place provoke. Again, 3 out of 10 times you're placing a provoke. Eek. But it's still a set. You know, it may get like it could get worked on in the future. So just hang on to some pieces. But yeah, here retaliation, like ideally, like you're gonna get hit, right? So the whole point of retaliation is that there's a counterattack. There's that built-in counterattack. So you want to get as tanky as you can get. Get that HP percentage up. Get that defense percentage up. Get that resist up. So this way you're not feared or stunned or slept. So this way you can counterattack if necessary. Or you could do the damage one, kind of like with this piece, this weapon piece of triple crit rate and triple and crit damage. Like you just got to make him hurt. So getting something like that going, awesome, cool. But definitely make sure they're on your tanky champs, because you could put it on Sun Wukong, but if he's dead, he can't counterattack. And yeah, reflex. I don't really use reflex at all. A 40% chance to reduce random skill cooldown. Okay, 4 out of 10 times this works. Um, I reduce a skill cooldown. Then what? I I need to have speed to use it, right? So depending on the skill that you're trying to cool down, get some speed going, like because you need to do the wraparound. So speed. Cruel is next. Uh, this one I kept just because it's an attack. I don't like the ones like this, but it's in crit rate, crit damage, and basically a double attack that's really high. I'm okay with that, but ideally attack. Like it's an attack modifier of plus 15%. I'm definitely just going to crank out as much as I can get. Chomsky's cranking it, man. In this set, attack, crit damage, crit rate. Accuracy to a lesser extent, but yeah, I want to get as much as I can get. Immortal, I'm definitely looking at HP, get that speed going because it heals by 3% every turn. So you really just need to, you know, go super, super quick. And then that HP percentage is nice, man. Toss this on your Narcies, and there's some damage out there as well as some potential healing. Uh, a Narcies being at more than 100,000 HP, getting 3,000 back every time, that's not bad. And that's good, so all right. This one snuck in. This one should be sold. Attack with HP shield. All right, cool. Crank out the HP, crank out the attack, and you're good to go. This is only that HP shield only lasts for 3 turns, so get in, get out. Like you ain't sticking around. Crit rate plus 12%, cool. Um, Decent starter piece, but later on not going to be amazing because crit rate we can get that. Um, we want better stuff, but the HP shield is nice. That's good. Here with Divine Life, same thing. HP percentage and a shield. Okay, cool. But eventually you play yourself out of that. Here we have Divine Speed. If there's speed, I want as much as I can get. Here's accuracy and speed. Let's crank this up to 16. Let's hope for double speed, and we get triple accuracy. Okay, like 1 in speed, and I used a glyph. Not the greatest. You know, but that's a luck of the draw, right? I can't do anything about that. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for HP percentage and speed. Perception, yeah, accuracy and speed, uh, huge. And like this one's got crit rate and crit damage. Not the greatest, but I definitely want speed and accuracy. Both of them the better. Um, yeah, and ideally 6 stars. Just because I'm a glutton for punishment here. Here we go, and ones. I don't want ones. I want double speed or double accuracy. Um, Ideally, you know, it has to make sense. So this one, this one's kind of a stretch. I'm okay selling it, but yeah, accuracy and speed. Affinity breaker, you want to get that crit rate here, but ideally crit damage. And you're changing a weak hit to critical hit, so you're looking at an off affinity. Um, okay, so like get your force champs, get your magic champs, and there you go. But you're looking for crit damage, crit rate, speed for you to hit them, and that's basically it. Fatal. Again, attack and crit rate, a very nominal crit rate, but I'm looking for attack, looking for crit damage, looking for anything like that in these pieces. So like double crit rate is fine, but ideally I'm looking for crit damage. You know, like meh. Like this one would be really cool if it went into crit damage and or attack. I think plus 5%. Okay, like it's not bad. Resistance, I would have preferred this in a different uh, category, but that's fine. Attack percentage with crit damage and accuracy. I'll hang on to that. Crit rate. This is not a good piece, just because I want to maximize that attack. I want to maximize that damage. Frostbite. You're doing Frostbiter and Doom Tower. This is fine. I mean, but really blocking freeze debuffs in a set, you're basically you could get a block debuffer up instead, and you could just skip Frostbite. But if you're hell bent on it, honestly, you're just using it for a 1 in 10 chance to place freeze on an attacker. So be be tanky. You need to take a hit, and this way this could proc. But yeah, be tanky. So defense, HP, bloodthirst, crit rate. This is lifesteal, so I want to get as much damage out here as I can. So speed, crit damage, crit rate. Like that's really the name of the game here. Uh, this one's got a quad here, essentially. Um, I don't I don't want to use this. Like I only have two of them, and I don't really need a bloodthirst set. But yeah, I could toss this on like a Stultus. Um, anybody that has an AoE hit, and ideally Hex ahead of it, because you're dealing 30% of damage dealt as a heal, then you really want an AoE hitter. So I mentioned Stultus because he does pack a punch. He's defense based. Like this could be an awesome shield for him. So Guardian, I this is rough, man. Because you could do. I've seen a Sun Wukong in Guardian because the dude comes back to life, right? So him absorbing 10% of all damage, awesome, cool. Dude's gonna come back unless he's block revived, and that's fine. So you could do it on that if you don't have a Sun Wukong. Um, I guess you could do it on a champ that you have Stone Skin on for that one turn, like an ultimate Death Knight maybe. Um, this way, at least that Death Knight is absorbing that much damage, and potentially through that Stone Skin, like, yeah, there's some damage mitigation, like that'll work. So, that second piece though heals by 10% every turn. Definitely crank out HP percentage. Like we're talking about more than 100,000 HP, and then this makes sense. Um, Eric's also works. Eric's is a free champ that you get, does some self healing. This adds to it. So HP percentage for sure. Lethal, this is going to be your bad Mamma Jamma. You're basically getting as much damage out here as you can. Since there's crit rate already built in, and you can only be 100, like ideally you want to be like 105%, just in case that 3% hits, like you're crit capped. So get as much damage out here as you can. Crit damage, crit rate, attack. What's nice about lethal, it works on every spectrum. So you could do HP percentage, defense percentage for your defense champs, HP champs. Like this is an awesome set. So definitely go nuts on it. When you see Dark Fae in Doom Tower, that is where all your keys go. There is no point in farming anything else. Um, for sure. Like here's a double crit rate with crit damage, additional crit rate that did I yeah. It's my first attempt. I got crit rate. I was okay with it. I wouldn't mind more crit damage, but it has speed and accuracy, HP percentage, and it's a rare, so it's not so bad. Speed with crit damage, accuracy, and flat attack. That's fine. But yeah, there you go. Protection's fun because you can basically have your support champs in here to get HP percentage or speed bonuses. That's great. So I'm definitely looking for that. It has resistance. Like here with my weapon, it's a little bit wonky because it's triple crit. It's basically a quad crit damage, which is huge, and it has speed. So it's nice because if I get 3 pieces, there we go. But yeah, HP, speed, anything like that. I have my Lydia in protection. Like I really enjoy protection stuff, so I want to get as much of that as I can. Stone Skin, kind of wonky. When Stone Skin first came out, I definitely sold all of it that had speed in there, which was a silly mistake. Because I, if I'm not going first in live arena, I want to be able to soak up as much as I can get, and then hit them up. So even not having speed and Stone Skin's fine, but there are fast Stone Skin pieces out there too. But HP, resistance, and defense. Like, really. Like, yeah. There'll be some pieces that I do want to hang on to that may not necessarily make sense. Like, resistance with HP and crit damage. Okay. This is just a tanky piece. So, double HP, that's fine. More of my supports than anything else. Kill stroke, let's get that crit damage, crit rate, speed, attack, defense, anything along those lines. Just really want to double dip as much as I can get. Instinct, I want speed, I want crit damage. I'm gonna be greedy. I want them all. You know, like gimme. you know, like this one sucks, but it is speed boots, so I'll take that. Like accuracy, crit rate, crit damage. Yes. Bolster, anything that has an ally shield, it's based on your HP. So I definitely want to crank up as much as I can get. Again, this has heal by 10% of every turn. So let's get that speed going. Impulse, speed. Um, yeah, get that speed going. I can't I can't express that enough. And I would love to have a speed counter somewhere in this video. Um, Crit damage with zeal. Uh, you could crank up the HP on this one, so get your Mountain King going and get him in zeal, and that would be awesome. Um, yeah, yeah. Uh, Righteous, get that speed and resistance, double dip. Supersonic, HP and speed. There was one piece I got that was out there. Was it this one? Kind of silly. I think it was just. It may have just been a set of gloves were that were just HP percentage. Um, Maybe not. Hmm. Either way, I want to double dip as much as I can get. So HP and speed, you know. Um, and this is fine if you're not that fast because you do cut in, but it, it's fine. Getting to 9 piece is really the benefit here, man. Toss that on a Raka, toss that on potentially a Senna, and I mean another 30% bonus on top of any turn meter fill. Fantastic. It's huge. Merciless, get me all the damage. Get me all those damage potentials out there. And this is where I would ideally love to have that go. So attack, crit damage, speed. Like huge, man. Huge. If you have any speed, basically in any of your pieces, um, and you could roll a 1 or a 2 in there, hang on to them. Like you'll thank me later. But speed is just so paramount in this game. Slayer's rough, but again, damage mitigation or damage modifiers for sure. So crit rate, crit damage, speed, attack. This could go on anybody because there's nothing specific. So defense percentage champs could use them, HP percentage champs, but have it make sense in those substats. Like this one being ones across, kind of suck. I'll put this on. I you know I could put this on a Siegfried maybe, because he does need HP. Resistance works, crit rate works, attack percentage works, but like I definitely want speed. So yeah, Feral's fun. Basically, it's perception ramped up a little bit, so speed and accuracy, and you're fine. Toss this on some dudes that that are going to be a healthy support. You know, um, I have some damage pieces here, and I like it. Here's 70 accuracy. Um, Love it. Pinpoint's been, it's hard to get, but accuracy and speed. And I'm trying to work my way through this. Um, Stone Cleaver I don't really use too much, but damage. You know, the bonuses against Stone Skin, it doesn't really matter much to me. But really just these one-off pieces, I still like them. So I definitely want to double dip. Rebirth, you know, this is what? It's more of a support thing. Yeah. Um, Speed. If you're reviving someone, you need to go fast to do that, right? So get that speed going. Um, yeah, and I mean like placing block damage on them, sweet. Unfortunately, it's a six piece for that to happen, so that and protection won't work. Because in protection you need four pieces to make that work. Is that right? Um, Sorry. Yeah, you need four pieces. So unless there's a ridiculous new accessory coming out, um, yeah, that's not gonna work. But yeah, get your support. So HP percentage, defense percentage, anybody for a reviver, this could be good on. And then chronophage is our last one. Yeah, I have really shitty chronophage stuff, man. I don't have anybody equipped in this, just because I don't think it's really that good. I mean, I don't build my champs with a lot of resistance. Like, I'll go through my resistance in a second, but resistance and speed, okay, cool. Um, that's fine. So let me see. How did I do this before? There was a way to show off um, champion stats. Here we go. So my highest resistance is 696, and I think that's gonna be Galathar. Yeah, 696 there, and then we have 669 over here. I don't like building resistance in a lot of my champs, but here we are. So yeah, that was a quick, like, hey, what do I want to hang on to? Yeah, just the gear guide. But yeah, let me know where I'm wrong. Um, Drop me a comment or find me on Twitch, Noma My Chomsky, and we'll take things from there. All right, take care.